A UNESCO intangible cultural heritage, Korea's Jongmyo Jeryeak, the traditional music and dance performed at ceremonies to honor the spirits of the kings and queens of the Joseon Dynasty, has been brought to life at an event in Indonesia's capital, Jakarta. Let's connect to Jakarta to hear about this perhaps unfamiliar yet deeply resonant experience that's unfolding there. We are now connected to Kyla Minerva Angelia at the Korean Cultural Center in Indonesia. Hello, Kyla.
Hello, Kyla.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Thanks for joining us on the program. So please introduce us to the Jongmyo Jeryeak exhibition that's currently running in Jakarta.
Right, so Jongmyo Jeryeak Sing for the Dynasty exhibition aims to showcase the beauty of Jongmyo Jeryeak, and it is supported by Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism Korea, Korean Foundation for International Cultural Exchange, and National Gugak Center as a part of Touring K-Arts program, where we promote various Korean culture in the form of exhibition and performances in Korean Cultural Center around the world. In this exhibition, not only do we showcase the clothes, the musical instruments, and the properties used by the performers, but we also provide several interactive activities such as ilmu simulation game, where visitors can practice the dances performed in the Jongmyo Jeryeak in person, and paper mobile making workshop with Jongmyo Jeryeak theme.
That's excellent, and thank you for introducing Korean culture to the Indonesian audiences. So, what kind of events and programs are being offered to the visitors, and how could they take part in those? And what were the locals impressed about the most? Example, was it the music, was it the rites, the costumes, or the clothing, etc.?
So, apart from the previously mentioned ilmu simulation game and paper mobile making workshop, the visitors showed the most interest when I demonstrated how to play O and chuk, which are two of the musical instruments played in the Jongmyo Jeryeak ceremony during the exhibition tour. And after the demonstration, I usually give the visitors a chance to play with the musical instruments themselves. And this way, it gives the visitors a chance for a hands-on experience of the instruments, and it made the tour way more colorful and memorable for them.
Well, those are some activities that even we here in Korea in modern day Korean daily life do not experience. So when preparing for the exhibition, was there anything that you paid special attention to so that really it works well with the local culture in Indonesia as well?
So prior to the opening ceremony of the exhibition, we collaborated with Jakarta National University's Performing Arts major to conduct a week-long workshop on Korean traditional culture. And during the workshop, the students had the opportunity to learn Korean traditional dance and gayagum. So after the workshop ended, they performed what they learned in the workshop on the exhibition opening day. And the audience, especially the VIP guests, were taken aback, especially when the students played an Indonesian song on Kayagum. And despite having only a short time to practice, the students delivered a very outstanding performance. Not only it was impressive, it was also a unique cultural performance that has never been done before. And we were glad that we were able to incorporate both Indonesian and Korean traditional elements into the performance, and that show that our culture can go hand in hand well together.
I mean, that really sounds like some harmony there. Now, Kyla, in a few days, on July 8th, the exhibition will come to a close. And I like the idea that there was sufficient time for visitors, to experience all of the different programs that you're offering there. But how has been the response so far on maybe local media or maybe even social media accounts?
So the opening ceremony of the exhibition actually received a lot of attention from local media. Several news outlets came to provide on-site coverage, and they also conducted interviews with the guests and charge d'affaires of Korean embassy. Beyond that initial coverage, we have been focusing on increasing in-person engagement by inviting university students for guided tours of the exhibition. And so far, we have welcomed a total of 100 students from 3 different universities, and all of them gave very positive remarks and showed a lot of enthusiasms during the visit. And additionally, we are also actively promoting the exhibition through our social media platforms by having a live online tour of the exhibition.
So I'm very aware that in Indonesia, K-pop, K-dramas, or K-beauty products, they are very popular within Indonesia. We see a lot of Indonesian tourists here within Korea as well. But what interests me is what you mentioned before was that many of your participants were interested in the kayagum or like gugak or like other traditional instruments like the komungo or the jangu or etc. etc. How is there an interest in Korea's traditional culture in Indonesia?
Well, Korean wave content, especially the pop culture, is undeniably very loved in Indonesia. And K-pop and K-drama fan bases are continuously growing strong, especially among the younger generations. However, not many Indonesians are familiar with Korean traditional culture. For many Indonesians, their exposure to Korean traditional culture is limited to what they see in historical K-dramas or movies, which is why this is a great opportunity to introduce them to Korean culture in a more direct and immersed way. So we hope that this exhibition can be a stepping stone into knowing Korean traditional culture deeper.
That's quite interesting as well. And do you actually feel like there may be any similarities between, let's say, Korean culture and Indonesian culture as well?
Yes, I do feel like there are a lot of similarities between Indonesian and Korean culture. While preparing for this exhibition, actually, I've come to a realization that both countries value courtesy and respect for elders. And chose to we also chose performing arts as a method to express our respect. And these art forms have evolved into cultural identities that reflect who we are, both as individuals and as members of our communities. And over time, they have been passed down through generations and preserved as a valuable cultural heritage, which we can still appreciate and celebrate until today.
It's great to have these common ways of how we respect the elderly in both Indonesia and Korea. Now, finally, Kyla, we want to ask you if there is any important message that you want to convey through this exhibition.
Yes, as much as this is a new experience for us, we are very honored to be able to host this exhibition this year and partake in introducing and promoting Jongmyo Jeryeak as a UNESCO intangible cultural heritage. We hope that this exhibition helps convey the significance of Jongmyo Jeryeak and raise awareness about this cultural value. And we certainly wish for more opportunities in the future to introduce other Korean traditional culture as well.
Kyla, just one more question, and just a very simple question. You are a very big part of this organization, and it's fantastic that you are. And thank you very much for giving your time to showing the Korean culture to the Indonesian people. I'm just curious. Like, what got you into being so involved within the Korean culture? What was your sort of introduction to Korean culture?
For me personally, I think like a lot of most K-pop fans in the world experience, I also got into Korean culture through K-pop at first, and then I started studying Korean language by myself. And then when it was time for me to apply for college, I decided to major in Korean language and culture because it is what attracted me the most. And I'm glad I chose that track because now I can be a part of this organization. I can take part in promoting Korean culture to Indonesian people. And I'm glad that I'm also taking part in introducing the beauty of Korean culture to Indonesian people. as well.
Well, great. For many of us, or for many people abroad, it starts with K-pop and K-drama, and it's really great to see that now many people are even interested in the deep traditional aspects of the Korean culture. So thank you very much, Kyla, for introducing us to this exhibition and for spreading Korean culture in Indonesia. And also, as you mentioned, we can still watch some of the tours online on your social media until the event comes to an end. So we'll make sure to check that out as well.
Yes, thank you, Kyla.
Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Walter. As always, we're going to see you back here soon.
See you very soon.